Could the biggest science project ever lead to the end of the world?
The massive gas line ruptures, could it happen in your neighborhood?
How many sex offenders live in your neighborhood?
Are there terrorist cells in your neighborhood?
Marijuana, could it be in your neighborhood?
Are your kids being brainwashed? I'll tell you who's taking cues from the Nazis.
A town in California is insisting that every second grader learns about gay penguins.
Social engineering of America's children.
We'll have global governance run by elites.
We'll have our own little China workforce right here in America.
Progressivism is a cancer.
The Republican Party has gone completely brain dead.
The far left does not want the USA to defeat terrorism.
The Republicans want you to die quickly.
The left believes Americans are stupid.
You cannot be a liberal and a Christian.
We have a village idiot in this country. It's called fundamentalist Christianity.
Islam is a lie from the pit of hell.
Atheists are parasites.
Republicans lie.
You know what our real problem is?
A country full of Joe the Plumber.
Crazed teabaggers.
Criminal illegal aliens.
Far-right cranks.
Far-left loons.
Right-wing nut jobs.
Practicing homosexuals.
The mainstream media. Radical imams.
Un-American bastard.
The Harvard elites.
Gun nuts.
Tree huggers. Yahoos and birthers. Fabian socialists.
We'll do it live! Fuck it!
Hi, this is Tatiana Moroz, and you're listening to Journalistic Revolution.
All right, welcome back to the Journalistic Revolution. This is your amazing host, Robert Wasman.
And this is your other amazing host, Matthew Dalton.
We are still working out some of the kinks, so we are completely unprepared for this show. I think it's going to be interesting.
I think it'll be fun. Unfortunately, though, we won't be able to take phone calls tonight.
I know, that is a disappointing factor until we get that part figured out. But we are moving in the right direction. We have equipment. We are streaming live with it right now as we speak. Ha, 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 technology. That one's for you. Of course, we will have Peace News now. We even figured out how to do that without having to download clips and other BTR crap. So hopefully we are now live. Matt, why don't you take over for a second while I check something real quick, okay?
All right, well, do you want me to just go ahead and start Peace News now?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right.
This is your Peace News for Friday, June 7th, 2013. Silver is trading at $22 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at $111 per Bitcoin. Hero Glenn Greenwald of The Guardian has been covering government abuse of power for a long time. Yesterday, he posted the most damning and dangerous article of his life, revealing that since 2008, Big Brother hasn't just been tapping your phone, but has also been reading your words online as you type them. I urge you to read Greenwald's article for yourself, as it may soon result in a Bradley Manning-style arrest for, quote, aiding the enemy, also known as you, the public. The National Security Agency has obtained direct access to the systems of Google, Facebook, Apple, and other U.S. internet giants, according to a top-secret document obtained by The Guardian. The NSA access is part of a previously undisclosed program called PRISM, which allows officials to collect material including search history, the content of emails, file transfers, and live chats. But fear not. In the information age, the individual has the power. You can outmaneuver the government spies by communicating via encryption or in secret code. Peace News has already covered Redphone, an app which allows users to communicate privately over cell phone calls. We've covered TextSecure, which allows users to text privately. Bitcoin allows users to send money privately. Now, BitMessage enters the arena. BitMessage is like Bitcoin in that it's a decentralized peer-to-peer protocol. Unlike using an add-on component for email similar to Pretty Good Privacy or PGP, BitMessage is a unified system that encrypts every message. On top of that, it keeps secure the members of the communication. Not only is the content of messages protected, but the sender and receiver of those messages is kept secret as well. Think of Bitmessage as a decentralized email server. These tools will empower you. Links to download these apps can be found in this episode's show notes. Are you still putting your identity at risk with credit cards? There's a better way. Use the first truly private money. Bitcoin is the world's largest alternative currency. Pay for your favorite online products instantly, without revealing secure data. Buy items in retail stores using your phone, just as quickly as a credit card purchase. Learn more about this empowering new currency at weusecoins.com. That's weusecoins.com. Good news from the Shire. You'll remember that talk show host Ian Freeman's home was raided by keen bureaucrats, claiming it was a lodging house, which it isn't, and that the fire department had to investigate to see if it was safe for the public. Well, believe it or not, Judge Runyon threw out the part of the administrative inspection warrant about fire safety inspection, and has suppressed all information gathered by the firemen during the raid. This means the bureaucrat's case is all but done for. And more good news. You may remember that the police in Palmer, Massachusetts taped a piece of printer paper to the wall which said, "No recording at town hall." One of the police then arrested Ian Freeman for not complying with their piece of paper. Well, now the bureaucrats from the town of Palmer have settled with Ian and his lawyer for $5,000. On March 13th of this year, Peaceful Streets activist Antonio Bueller was walking out of a courthouse in Texas when a police officer told him if he returned, he would face criminal charges. Antonio told the officer to go F himself and was arrested. This week was the trial. It lasted 7 hours. It was overseen by a judge who in the past had confiscated Antonio's camera and threatened him with arrest for filming. 2 of the 6 jurors had police officers in their families. Antonio was found guilty of cursing at a cop and sentenced to pay a $1 fine to the court. He will appeal the decision on First Amendment grounds. Speaking of trials, a jury just refused to indict Cameron D'Ambrosio, the teen who was arrested for some rap lyrics he posted to Facebook which made reference to the Boston bombers. The boy faced 20 years in prison for what the government calls threats of terrorism. This is another clear case of criminalizing free speech. Thanks to Big Brother keeping us safe from wannabe internet rappers, Cameron has missed months of his final year of high school and may have to repeat the grade since he was held without bail until yesterday. The most bizarre news of the day comes from Hayward, California, where, no joke, an elementary school is running a toy gun buyback program. Kids who turn in their play guns will receive a book and a chance to win a bike. Always be aware of social conditioning. Links are in the show notes. This has been Peace News, your daily update on the peaceful evolution. Get more Peace News on the Next News Network. And for daily videos, subscribe at youtube.com/peacenewsnow. For peacenewsnow.com, I'm Derek J, reminding you that peace is the way. This is your peace.
Oh, I almost restarted it. All right, thank you everybody for joining us tonight. And we just sent an alert on Facebook to tune into the show. We've been racking our heads over how to get this equipment working, so thank you again. Robert's back.
Yeah, I'm back. Sorry, I had to run over and let people know we're even doing a show since we're completely unprepared. Really, you're kind of gonna listen to us ramble on for about the next every 20 minutes for the next 2 hours. We're gonna ramble, and then we'll play some music and some commercials and stuff if necessary.
I'm okay with that, actually. You know, I think new training on how to think a little bit more on the fly and improv. We will be covering step number 4.
3.
No. We covered step number 3 on Wednesday.
No, we didn't. We covered it, yes, but we did the video today.
Yeah.
We actually recorded with Trip Pugh from NWO Fighter on Liberty Movement Radio as well. He's on Sundays and Wednesdays. We actually recorded the step 3 and step 4 of Status Anonymous with him. It was a blast. Mm-hmm. And honestly, I think Trip has the best line that we've used so far in any of our videos. I mean, I really like it. I'm not going to give it away because you got to go watch it. We need the views. But but it is honestly one of my favorite lines that we have done so far.
Yeah, and you know, that's part of the reason, you know, I got here a little late today because we got this new equipment yesterday and we had 2 shows to film, our step 3 and our step 4. and plus we had to try and figure out this equipment. Well, Robert did most of the legwork. I had to gather it all up, and we're still having some tiny issues. We got to figure out phone calls, and what else do we need to figure out? That's it, right? Just the phone calls, right?
Yeah, I think all we got to do is figure out how to get the phone calls on, how to hear the Skype calls, because we can take your call. I mean, you could call us on Skype, and we would be able to hear you on the radio show, but here in the studio, we would not be able to hear you yet because I've had all of an hour or two to even play with this new equipment, and to be perfectly honest, it's a jumbled mess right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get some tie wires or something to tie some of these cords up, because I don't want to tear them out when I have to go back home with them, because then I have to figure out how to put them all back in.
Figure out how I did it again, yeah.
So I want to leave everything plugged in the way, but we also need to copy it for you, because you haven't even unboxed your equipment.
Yeah, well, that's not going to be difficult. I mean, before you leave, I just need to set it up on my computer.
Well, you can probably do that tonight, real quick, after the show. So,
yeah,
unless we go into overdrive, folks.
Which could happen. I mean, stranger things have happened.
That depends on how many of you decide to join us tonight. Now,
in the chat room.
In the chat room. Yeah, that's very true. Well, so what did you want to discuss tonight? You got any ideas on what we should be discussing?
Well, first we should discuss step 3. Honestly,
do you want to go straight to step 3?
Straight to step 3, because
even
it was
though we already covered it?
Step 4. Damn it! I'm sorry, we recorded 3 today, so I'm still thinking 3 is the next one. You know, which we'll cover. What were the first step? Of course, was acceptance.
Acceptance. Yes.
All right, and that one was kind of tough for me. You know, coming to terms with the fact that I'm a statist, okay, or at least a recovering one.
A recovering statist.
A recovering statist.
Mm-hmm.
And I, and the second one was actually the most difficult, I think, for me.
So
far, which was coming to terms to the fact that nobody's going to save me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that the only person that I can rely on is myself.
Yep.
To help me with my statism. Can I talk about it with other statists? Can I talk about it with further evolved libertarians and voluntarists and liberty-minded people? And because of that fact, be able to expand my horizons as far as getting rid of statism? Yeah, absolutely. I could do that. But in reality, for right now, the reality is that no one else is going to be able to help me.
No, it's all on your own. I mean, obviously we have Status Anonymous, you know, and I think the important thing is yeah, you are on your own, but you're not on your own. Status Anonymous is about accountability. You know, we all have to keep each other accountable to our actions. You know, if somebody starts acting like a statist, it's up to us to say, hey, you just pull you off the side. Hey, what you just did. And you'll see that with the video in step 4. Actually, you see that in virtually every video, where, you know, Robert says something and either me or Tripp is holding him accountable for his statist remarks or his statist behavior.
Which we should do with each other. And like you see in the videos, even though they may be done kind of rough sometimes, not the videos, my videos are perfect. But even though it can be kind of rough explaining, I mean, honestly, statism is just like drug addiction or alcoholism. In perfect honesty, you get in this pattern of ways of thinking. You get in this pattern of a way of speaking to people. And things that are hard to let go of, you know, like I used to be a Democrat environmentalist, right? And I still hold a lot of statist tendencies when it comes to environmentalism. Like I'll get all pissed off at clear cutting, so I'm all like, oh, we should make a law against that. But then I realize they do have laws against that, and the Democrats sell the land any way, you know. So I'm sorry, they don't sell the land; they sell the rights to the trees.
Oh, okay.
Because they're not taking the land anymore.
Oh no, the land's not going anywhere.
Yeah, the land's not going anywhere.
So, and that actually cracks me up, because it's like the land's not going anywhere, so they sell the rights to the trees. Well, who owns the land?
Technically, the state.
Technically, the state.
Yes.
They own
us, the people own the land.
And it's a piece of it's a piece of area, a property that was here long before we got here. And they just stick a flag in it? Like, this is our property. We own this land.
Well, if I remember, it was the first real environmentalist in America. I forget his name. I think I want to say Bellamy. I think his name was Bellamy. He was the one who petitioned to protect certain areas of the United States. He was the one who kind of initiated. I think I'm wrong. It might not be Bellamy. Whatever. Google it. But he...
now, folks, if you Google Bellamy, you might get Bill Bellamy, and he's a comedian.
Yeah, he's a comedian.
He's not going to be the first environmental activist.
But look him up too; he's hilarious. But the guy, he ended up protecting land, and it was supposed to be for the protection and preservation for future generations, which I can get behind to a certain degree. You know, I don't want to see a Coca-Cola factory on Niagara Falls. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I understand that to a certain point.
Statist?
Hey, we're all dealing with it, okay? But at the same time, what the hell is the point of having a protected area if it's not freaking protected? It doesn't. But, you know, I mean, we shouldn't have a protected area.
And how did you learn this?
How did I learn this?
You learned this by actually doing direct action activism. You were there. You were trying to protect the trees, thinking you were working in line with the Democrats.
Yes, I was a Democrat liberal at the time. Yes.
And you thought that the same people you were helping to protect the land were actually going around behind you and selling, well, not the land, but the rights to the trees.
Well, okay, to you know, since we're getting off subject of Status Anonymous, let me go ahead and explain it. Basically what happened was I was tree sitting. For those of you who don't know, it means that we built little platforms about the size of a jail cell at the top of Douglas fir trees in the Willamette National Forest. This is where I got my start in activism back in 98, 99. And while we were up there, you know, we won. We saved 554 acres of old-growth forest by finding a new species of tree vole, which I didn't even know what a vole was.
It's like a rat, right?
Yeah, it's like a gerbil that never comes out of trees. It's like a big aerial gerbil. But so
a lot of gay people, no. Going out there to protect those trees.
You can send the hate mail to Matthew Dalton journalisticrevolution@gmail.com. So after a while, I'm a outside the box kind of thinker. So after a while, we won this one protest. Then I went to another in Idaho. Then I went to another in Southern Oregon. Then I got invited to one in California. And the way that worked is some guy just came up to me, one of these hippie guys, you know, who smell like patchouli. And he comes up to me and he goes, "Hey man, you want to go protect some redwoods, dude?" And I'm all like, "Fuck yeah, I want to go protect some redwoods."
Was this Fox?
No, this wasn't Fox. Fox was more intelligent than this guy.
Okay.
But, and none of us had real grown-up names, by the way.
Yeah.
Because, you know, we had people looking for us because a lot of us were involved with anarchist groups out in Eugene, Oregon and stuff like that. But that's neither here nor there. I wasn't really involved with that stuff. I was a Democrat, liberal, freaking activist. I'm saving the trees! Right? So, sorry about that. I got distracted. Yeah. So I was all about saving the trees. So I'm a kind of outside the box thinker. This man asked me if I want to go to the redwood protest in Northern California, and I'm all like, okay, yeah. Which national forest is it in? And he's all like, oh no, it's not a national forest. And I'm all like, oh, okay. So is it like, you know, unowned wilderness? That the logging companies are just trying to log or get the logging rights to. He's like, oh, no, it's private property. And I'm like, oh, okay, so the guy who owns the property doesn't want to sell and they're using some sort of eminent domain or something to take this from him? No, the logging company owns it. Then the hell no, I'm not going. What? Why aren't you going? It's the logging company's land, okay? They can literally wait you out as long as they want. You could go there. You could have a family, raise your children to be tree sitters. You could raise them to be tree sitters. They could raise their children to be tree sitters, and the logging company could still wait you out because it's their land.
Well, not only that, it's their property, and they have a right to that property. So if you're violating a law by being on their property,
well, you're violating a law by tree sitting in a national forest.
But
too.
Okay, but he has every right
Yeah, I
cut
believe
down
in
that
property
tree.
rights now.
He has every right to cut down that tree with you in it.
Well, for me, it wasn't the fact. Let me rephrase. Yes, I believe in property rights now, and I will do anything to protect them. Back then, I didn't really necessarily believe in property rights. It wasn't a big thing, but I try to exist in the world of logic and trying to protest.
Hear that, folks? He was a Democrat liberal, and he tried to live in the world of logic.
I was a walking contradiction. Anyway, so the point is that after a while, I'm all like, wait a minute, okay, we're winning some protests, we're losing some protests, right? And so I'm all like, well, let's find the source of the problem. That makes more sense than just fighting the what's the word I'm looking for? Symptoms.
Yeah.
Okay. So it makes more sense than just fighting the symptoms. You want to go for the cause. So I looked to my fellow protesters, these hippies, which, by the way, I love the hippie culture. Okay. I hate hippies, and I lived with these people. And my problem with them was, and not necessarily the hippie anarchist activists, because they were active. I enjoyed them. It's the same reason I hate lazy libertarians. It's because I would go to these huge hippie gatherings and I'd be like, they're trying to cut down the forest. And they're like, boo. And I'd be like, yeah, we're going to stop them. And they're like, yay. And I was like, whoever wants to come, get on the bus. They're like, I got some shit to do. But point is, so I'm all like, all right, fellow activists, what is the cause? Who is logging these trees? And they said, the logging companies. And I was like, okay. So I went into the city from the woods, and I get there, and I get in touch with the public relations office of the Zippo logging mills, who we were protesting against at that time. We were protesting the Blodgett cut. They name them weird names. But anyway, so we were protesting the Blodgett cut, and we were like, okay, well, let's get in touch with these Zippo logging companies. Let's see what's up. And I was like, hey, look, we're the protesters. We'd like to have a sit-down meeting with you and try to discuss some sort of compromise or something that we can do to help each other out. They were more than willing. Okay, they were like, yeah, sure, okay, where you want to meet up? Neutral area? How about we meet near the forest where you guys are protesting at that farm, that those people who help you out, blah, 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 because lots of people gave us food and helped us out there. So we go there and we're all like, we want you to stop logging. And they're all like, yeah, but we bought the rights. And I was like, wait. You bought the rights from who? And they were like, the Forest Service. And they were more than willing to help us, by the way. They were like, yeah, I don't know. If you want to, we'll do thin cutting. We'll make sure that we don't cut within 200 yards of any endangered species that you find or anything like that, right? So they were really willing to, they weren't going to not log. Excuse me. They weren't going to not log, but they did say that they would, try to compromise. It's all you can really ask from another human being is compromise. So I was like, okay, so the logging companies are buying these rights from the Forest Service. So let's have a sit down with the Forest Service and tell the Forest Service to stop selling trees to these logging companies. So I do the same thing. I get in touch with the Forest Service. I tell them that we want to have a meeting because the Forest Service was constantly trying to get us out of the forest. And they have a sit-down meeting with us. Again, these people were all like, oh, yeah, no, we work for the Forest Service. We don't want the trees cut. We're on your side. We want to see you guys win. We want to see the forest preserved. And I'm all like, so what the hell? I'm like, why are you guys selling the trees? They're like, it comes down off high. And I'm all like, well, who's up on high? And they gave us some politician names who get these deals. I can't remember them now. I was like 19 at the time, 20, something like that, right? And so I get these politicians' name, and guess what they were? They were liberal Democrats who said that I'm the good guy because I'm out there protesting, but they're the ones who caused the damn problem that I have to protest in the first place. So that's when I stopped being a liberal Democrat.
All right, hey, Tracy, I love you, and you're posting and you want to make phone calls. Well, you missed the first part of the show where we're having technical difficulties where even if you call in, it probably won't work. You could try.
Oh, no, yeah, again, people will be able to hear you on the radio. We won't. We would not be able to hear you, and that would, that just wouldn't be any fun. after we'd wait like 30 seconds, and be like, That's wonderful. Yeah, I find those people sexy too. And so it wouldn't be very productive.
Yeah, no. I mean, we want to take phone calls.
I do. I want to hear your guys' status tendencies that you have to deal with, because I'm going through this problem myself.
Yes. So for those of you who are just joining us, since I posted in a bunch of forums that we were going live, now all of a sudden we have more listeners. We're going over. Robert just told a compelling story of his statism when he was a Democrat liberal.
When I was an extreme statist.
Yeah, and he was a direct action activist. Now, and that kind of goes along with where he's struggling to get rid of that cognitive dissonance that holds him to those statist tendencies. So we're going to go over step 4. Now,
wait. Repeat steps 1, 2, and 3 again, real quick for them.
We admitted that we were powerless over our statism, that our lives had become unmanageable. That's step 1.
Yeah, and basically what that means is that we admit that statism isn't going to go away in ourselves because we were indoctrinated with it. It's just not going to disappear. Oh, look at that. I'm completely voluntary and completely free.
It's a constant battle.
It's a constant battle. And that our lives have become unmanageable, meaning what in your life do you really manage that the government doesn't get involved in?
So step number 2 came to believe that no power greater than ourselves could restore us to liberty.
That's right. Meaning that I can't depend on Ron Paul, Adam Kokesh, Matthew here, or Trip Pugh, Christopher Camp. No one is going to save me. I am the only one who has the power to change my statist tendencies.
That's right. Step number 3 we went over on Wednesday. And then that is when we made a decision to turn our will over
to the non-aggression
principle
and the message of liberty.
As
we understand them.
Yes.
The reason that I love that last part, as we understand it, implies that there's growth. Okay. I mean, what's the joke? What's the joke we heard Adam Kokesh say down at Paul Fest in Tampa? He said that it was what's the difference between a minarchist and an anarchist?
3 months.
About 3 months. So, I mean, even the joke implies that there's a journey that we're on here, guys.
And the funny thing about that is I didn't get the joke until about 6 months later, 3 to 6 months later, where I essentially I went from minarchism to voluntarism.
Yeah, you went from a philosophical minarchist to a philosophical voluntarist.
Yeah, and then I got the joke. I mean, I kind of got it then.
Longest joke ever.
No, I mean, reality is I kind of got it then, but I just didn't see the humor in it because I wasn't there yet.
Yeah.
And now that I'm there, I see the humor, and it makes a lot of sense.
It does. Okay, so the next step.
The step we're covering today, step number 4. We made a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves. And the beautiful part about this step is we didn't even have to change it.
Yeah, we didn't even have to let's replace this with liberty, replace that with non-aggression. But it's true, because you have to know where you stand morally for you to be able to adhere to your principles, okay, as you understand them. And a perfect example of that is, let's say you're at a bar, right? Some guy's being rowdy. He's not being violent. He's being loud, being obnoxious, maybe hitting on the wrong people. You know what I mean? And then security comes in, grabs him, yokes him up, throws him down, takes him outside, and the cops arrest him. And you think, just for a second, asshole got what he deserved.
Statist.
But it is because for that quick moment, you're right in the aspect that, he made his own decisions. He's lying in his own bed. But to take pleasure in seeing statists, the oppression of statism being pushed onto someone else is a slippery slope.
Another good example of that is Christians who believe that they got to legislate morality.
You love to bring that one up.
Oh, I think it's because as a Christian, and I know a lot of people don't want to hear it, we're not going to discuss it too long, but as a Christian and a voluntarist, I see the message of Christ as voluntarism, anarchism.
To a degree,
to a degree, yeah. That, I see the same principles coming out of his teachings. And then I watch Christians go, oh, no. Jesus Christ didn't take anybody's free will away, but it's my duty to vote to take people's free will away.
Well, another good example using your same analogy of Christianity is you get a lot of Christians who are all like, we can't let people do heroin. We can't let people have prostitution. We got to get rid of abortion. But we can bomb brown people all damn day, and that's cool. As long as I don't have to see it.
Yeah.
When did out of sight, out of mind become a Christian principle? But that's neither here nor there. So the step today that I am going through, that Matthew's going to help me work through.
I'm going to repeat the step for you guys out there. Step number 4, made a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves. As Robert adjusts the volume, so hopefully you out there can hear us better. And I think that's, you have to search deep inside your cognitive dissonance. You have to let go. And it's fearless. You have to be fearless, because that's like when I discuss these things with my family, and they get all upset, and they have this fear that I'm going down this wrong path, and in going away from their principles, what they believe to be the right principles, and you have to be fearless. You have to let go of that belief. You have to understand those principles.
Well, I mean, I don't want to use the term principles, because principles are the same thing that got us spanked, or principles are the same thing that got us put into wars. You know what I mean? But what I would say is their philosophies of life. That is what they fear, that we're going to violate their philosophies. But in reality, if we're adhering to voluntarism and less statist life, right, then they would have more freedom to live out their philosophies. They wouldn't. But the problem is they get all upset when they see someone else being free too, and it's upsetting. They're all like, "I'm free to believe in whatever I want to believe," and holy crap, that guy's over there believing what he wants to believe. We got to do something about that.
And that's what I try to point out, that hypocrisy. How can you believe that, just because your moral principles are different than somebody else's, if they're not physically harming you, there are 310 million people in this country. And what was it, like 205 available voters available to be registered?
No, it was, like 208 million.
Yeah, 208 million people. Now, not all of them are registered, but eligible. Okay, now those 208 million, how many of those people would you say, percentage-wise, have the exact same principles all the way across the board?
Oh, yeah, none.
Yeah, exactly. So you're telling me that 210 people or 208 million people have to legislate their morality separately than others? Or do we just agree that just because your morality is different than mine, that
as long as you aren't touching babies, shooting people, or robbing stores, you're good to go?
And that's where democracy becomes a tool that a lot of people believe in, and they think that this country is a democracy. And really, democracy...
Well, no, it is now.
Well, it is now. And that's the problem, is a lot of people believe in this thing called democracy. Well, 51% of the people believe it should be wrong, so screw you other 49%. And I think that is where we run into this problem, is this cognitive dissonance. People were brought up with this belief that democracy is a good thing.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what. Let's go ahead and take a quick break.
Okay.
All right, go ahead and start with a promo. We'll go into a song so we can look one up.
We got 30 seconds with the promos.
Well, no, you can play one or two in a row.
Okay.
Play the movie guy promo, and then the LMR promo. Yeah, do both LMR promos, and then yeah. So, yeah. So here, we're going to go ahead and take a quick break. When we come back...
In a world where statism reigns supreme.
Oh, I love Glenn Beck.
Rush Limbaugh is a god. One station stand against the system.
This is a criminal act being committed by a man in a costume.
They had one chance, and that chance was to fight back. This summer, we are...
Dude, this is our last chance.
Liberty Movement Radio. Thanks for listening to Liberty Movement Radio, where activists come to hang out.
News shows like We Are Not Cattle, Journalistic Revolution, and Voluntary Virtues.
As well as This Shit Sucks and Annoying Peasant Radio.
To get and keep informed, visit us at libertymovementradio.com.
And once again, thanks for listening.
What?
I'm gonna pop some tags. Only got $20 in my pocket. I'm hunting, looking for a come up. This is fucking awesome.
Nah, walk into the club like, what up? I got a big cock. I'm just pumped. I bought some shit from a thrift shop. Ice on the fringe is so damn frosty. The people like, damn, that's a cold ass honky. Rolling in hella deep, headed to the mezzanine. Dressed in all pink, set my gator shoes. Those are green draped in a leopard mink. Girl standing next to me. Probably should have washed this. Smells like R. Kelly sheets. But shit, it was 99 cents. I get copping it, washing it. About to go and get some compliments. Passing up on those moccasins. Someone else has been walking in. Bummy and grungy fucking man. I am stunting and flossing and saving my money. And I'm hella happy that's a bargain, bitch. I'ma take your grandpa style. I'ma take your grandpa style. No, for real. Ask your grandpa, can I have his hand-me-down? Velour jumpsuit and some house slippers. Dookie brown leather jacket that I found. Dig it. They had a broken keyboard. I bought a broken keyboard. I bought a ski blanket. Then I bought a kneeboard. Hello, my ace man, my mellow. John Wayne ain't got nothing on my fringe game, hell no. I could take some pro wings, make them cool, sell those. The sneakerheads will be like, he got the Velcro.
I'm gonna pop some tags. Only got $20 in my pocket. I'm hunting, looking for a come up. This is fucking awesome. I'm gonna pop some tags. Only got $20 in my pocket. I'm hunting, looking for a come up. This is fucking awesome.
What she know about rocking the wolf on your noggin? What she knowin' about wearing a fur fox skin? I'm digging, I'm searching right through that luggage. One man's trash, that's another man's come up. Thank your granddad for donating that plaid button up shirt. Cause right now I'm up in her skirt. I'm at the Goodwill, you can find me in the... I'm not stuck on searching in the section. Your grandma, your auntie, your mama, your mammy. I'll take those flannel zebra jammies secondhand. I rock that motherfucker. The built-in onesie with the socks on that motherfucker. I hit the party and they stop in that motherfucker. They be like, oh, that Gucci, that's hella tight. I'm like, yo, that's $50 for a t-shirt. Limited edition, let's do some simple edition. $50 for a t-shirt, that's just some ignorant bitch. I call that getting swindled and pimped. I call that getting tricked by a business. That shirt's hella dope. And having the same one as 6 other people in this club is a hella don't. Peep gang, come take a look through my telescope. Tryna get girls from a brand, man, you hella won't. Man, you hella won't.
Goodwill. Poppin' tags. Yeah.
I'm gonna pop some tags. Only got $20 in my pocket. I'm hunting, looking for a come up. This is fucking awesome. I'll wear your granddad's clothes. I look incredible. I'm in this big ass coat from that thrift shop down the road. I'll wear your granddad's clothes. I look incredible.
Come on, man.
I'm in this big ass coat from that thrift shop down the road. I'm gonna pop some tags. Only got $20 in my pocket. I'm hunting, looking for a come up. This is fucking awesome.
All right, we're back.
Yeah, I love that song.
By the way, Matthew gets the lyrics wrong every single time.
I don't give a shit. Sue me.
Well, it was funny because it reminded me of my friend who would always sing the I Am the Bull God by, what's his name? Kid Rock, right? And every time he would sing it, he would say, I am the bullfrog and I'm green. And I was just like, dude. And every time I corrected him, he was all like, no, man, it says bullfrog. Quit fucking with me. You know?
Oh, that's hilarious.
Okay, so I've been going through an issue. We've decided to make it more public and help each other by doing meetings. Now, granted, we can't do the meetings tonight because we don't have the phone call capabilities. I know, Tracy Diaz, you're really upset, but I am too. I feel your pain. But anyway, so...
yeah, trust me, it's not like we don't want to take the phone calls.
Yeah, it's not... Oh, yeah, no, it's not that. So...
If you guys understood what I have had to go through the last... No. I'm talking about just the to get this equipment and then try to figure it out on my own, which I'm not tech savvy like Robert, and then have to go, I don't know how many multiple trips to 3 or 4 different stores to get this cord and that piece of equipment. Oh, we saved some money on this equipment, but guess what? It's out of date, so I got to go spend some more money on some other equipment. Well, no, it was hell. It was hell. So
okay, well, so we've been doing this thing called Status Anonymous, which, by the way, the new videos should be out tomorrow, which is step 3, of course, which we discussed last episode, and this one is doing the searching our moral standards, right? And it's kind of difficult, okay, because to truly define your morals in every aspect of them, that's really what I think is difficult. Because you can say, well, I want world peace, and I don't want to hurt nobody, and I want to be free.
Oh, you're a voluntarist.
Yeah, well, duh. But what I'm saying is those aren't really defining your principle. What is freedom? Mm-hmm. What is world peace? Because what I picture as a realistic world peace, there's still going to be murders.
Yeah.
You know, so people are still going to steal. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, a voluntary world is not a perfect one.
What's that quote? Is it Thomas Jefferson or Benjamin Franklin? I would rather deal with the problems.
Ben Franklin.
Yeah.
I would rather deal with the problems of a country that is... no, it's... Yeah, I would rather deal with the problems of a country that is too free than the problems of one that is not free enough.
Yeah.
Paraphrasing.
Yeah.
Because he's more eloquent than I am.
Yeah, of course. Well, yeah, that's what makes him... Well, maybe you'll be memorable like him someday.
No, don't pull my leg, man. Like I told my mother when I was 15, I was all like, I won't be famous, but I will be infamous. But...
And I can actually attest to that because when Robert and I, when we were just starting hanging out and I was in the club scene, I didn't have the same amount of friends as he did. So
I managed a club, man.
Yeah. So I would name drop him everywhere and everybody knew him. He was truly infamous.
I really was in the Orlando. I mean, as infamous as you can be in Orlando, Florida. You know, it's not like I could just walk into any club and be like, "Yeah, I'm Gremlin, bitch. Better recognize." You know, you know, they were clubs I worked in. You know, I managed and promoted for them. So, mm-hmm. But anyway, let's get back on track. I have a problem, okay, and it's statism. Call it status light, call it status tendencies, whatever you want to do. I have these problems. Matthew's been helping me out with it. Okay, so I made it through step 1. I've accepted that you know, I have status tendencies and I gotta push through it. And then step 2, I've accepted that I am the only person who can save me from my statism. And step 3, which was I'm giving my will or my life up, if you will, to the non-aggression principle and non-aggression principle and the message of liberty. Okay, so now step 4.
You want me to repeat the step?
What? Go ahead and repeat step 4.
We made a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves.
So, I have some confessions, I guess, is really what I have to start this off with. I have to confess some of my moral violations, if you will, against things that, mm-hmm. you know, that I thought defined me. And Well, let's see. I actually kind of omitted one that I have, one contradiction in my moral standing, if you will. The fact that I still think from time to time that there should be laws for environmentalist purposes, which is really ironic since I completely make fun of the Monsanto crowd for asking for bans against GMOs. And I'm like, oh yeah, the government's in bed with Monsanto. Let's ask the government to fix it.
I wouldn't be, look, I disagree with any more government regulation. I really truly do. And we've seen the free market is actually coming up with its own solution.
Yeah, reward the companies that already label their
there's products that they're saying we're non-GMO. But I don't think, and this is my status moment, I don't think I would be completely sad as if our U.S. government said, no, Monsanto, you can't do business here anymore.
Well, I mean, if we find out that they are knowingly endangering people with non-tested genetic modified organisms, then I would have no problem with shutting down the company and arresting the people on criminal charges who were in the know.
Yeah.
'Cause that, I mean, they're if they're intentionally feeding people poison, knowingly feeding people poison, I'm pretty sure that's called attempted murder. But that's neither here nor there. But the point is one of the problems I have is that I still am an environmentalist at heart, not a global warming alarmist. Okay? I do believe in climate change. I don't believe in global warming. I do believe there is a man-made coalition. I do believe there is a man-made connection, but I think that it is less than what they want us to believe and a little more than the deniers would want to accept. Okay. And I think that this is a natural cycle on top of what we're doing to the planet. And here's my problem with global warming is that it takes away from real environmental issues like the garbage island out in the Pacific, okay, or Fukushima in Japan, or
can that be found on Google Earth?
What?
The garbage island?
It's not really an island. It's just a big swirling mass of plastic. No, honestly, that's what it is. It's like this huge swirl of plastic in the Pacific between California and Japan.
Interesting.
Yeah,
so chances are
but how many
we're polluting some wormhole where it's going into another dimension.
Some really pissed off aliens are going to show up in like 20 years. Here's your fucking plastic back.
Now they're probably using that technology to print guns with that plastic.
Recycled printed guns. That would be awesome. But okay, so how do you deal with that? That's a question I've really had to ask myself. How do I deal with the fact that I'm an environmentalist? I believe that we should be stewards of this planet. It's the only one we got. Okay. But at the same time, I'm not against making money, making a profit, making products. I'm not against that. Okay, some of these environmentalists that I used to run with would be ecstatic to see us go back to the Dark Ages. Okay, I mean they would be literally tiptoeing through the roses. They love that idea. I don't. I think there is a balance, but I think the balance will never happen through regulation.
No.
But at the same time, how do you get certain things to stop happening without using the government? How, the story I told earlier about me going into, talking to the logging companies, then talking to the Forest Service, then finding out it was the politicians, and why bother talk to those assholes, right? So, if it always comes back to the damn the politicians, how do you voluntarily, in a voluntaristic way, stop egregious pollution? I'm not talking like a guy throwing a freaking McDonald's wrapper out the side of his car. Okay, it's paper. It biodegrades. Get over yourself. Okay, but
don't diss the crying Indian. do not diss the crying Indian.
Did you not listen to the show I did by myself the other day? I love the Native American culture. I still to this day think that the greatest nation in the history of man was destroyed by the second greatest nation in the history of man.
I think I happen to agree with you on that, but continue.
Because they had a very voluntaristic, society. I really liked it. So anyway, how do you do that? How do I reconcile that? Would be a question. If you're in the chat room, I'd love to hear an idea. And Trip, don't just tell me to go do something weird either, buddy.
Apparently, we're making Trip wish he was able to get laid. I don't understand how that correlates to what we're talking about.
It's my deep voice. But
how do you deal with that? Well, I think Stefan Molyneux, as I've listened, I've actually increased my my listenership of his videos and what he has to say.
Okay.
With the non-aggression principle, if you own a piece of property and said company is over here polluting an area and it affects your property, you have a right to go through a dispute resolution.
Okay, well then let me ask you this, okay, because I do believe there is a man-made correlation between global warming and the climate change.
Okay.
Very
small.
Not insignificant.
It's like 0.1
No.
tenth of a degree
over
the last 100 years.
Well, but what I'm saying is that our contribution to that 0.1 degree or whatever, which the Earth has not gotten hotter on average since 1997, by the way.
No, I know.
Okay. So hold on. So let's say for a moment that that we find out for sure, for a fact, global warming is real, right? We are the cause. There's no other energy from space or solar radiation or anything else affecting the planet, even though all the planets are going through global warming, but that's neither here nor there. But let's say it was found out for a fact we're in a contribution. How do you resolve that? How do you conflict resolve that? If it's found out that these companies, some companies which do not exist anymore, but ones that do currently, are affecting the property of every single person's private property, how do you conflict resolve that?
Well, a company that doesn't exist anymore?
Well, those those ones you wouldn't have to deal with. I'm just saying the ones that exist now, like BP.
Area. Okay, the ones that exist. Well, in a truly free society where there's no regulation, okay, a lot more people could actually get into the oil industry.
I'm not talking about that.
Well, no, because they're the ones polluting, so you're bringing up oil, right?
Yes,
okay.
But we don't live in that society now. I'm talking about in this society adhering by my principles of voluntarism and non-aggression.
The point is by adhering to your principles now is to the eventuality that we get to that point.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the fact is you're not going to change anything now. Everything's done through government regulation, and the best thing we can do. And this is why we believe.
Bitch.
Fuck you.
Not you. I'm talking about the government regulation. I was just like,
and this is why we believe in that, and you and I pragmatically believe that any action
towards freedom is good action,
even if it's statism. But if it's a statist way to get back towards deregulation, using voting or government to get back to deregulation or more freedom or more civil liberties. Yeah, eventually the goal is to get to that 100%. But in a truly free society, because, see, Stefan Molyneux wouldn't let you get away with that. He would, because he's only going to argue the philosophy.
Okay.
He's not going to argue what's going on now. He's not going to let you use that argument to describe what would happen in a truly free society. And I watched him completely verbally destroy somebody's argument by trying to use how things are today after 100 years of government intervention that's caused the problem to create a problem in a free society.
Well, it's like that meme, it's all like, well, voluntarism is so wonderful. Why hasn't any government in history ever done it? And it's all like, why hasn't the powerful elite ever given up their power on a voluntary basis? I don't know. That's a good question.
That's a good question, but it actually is a very untrue statement that government or that society has existed. You went on the rant. The American Indians.
Yeah, the Native Americans.
The Native Americans had that
or
set
at least the closest to a voluntaristic society on which, how I understand it.
Yeah.
You know, they had a federal system, the Iroquois Confederacy, to a certain degree. I mean, they weren't overreaching and overpowerful.
But they had a dispute resolution council, didn't they?
Yes, they did.
Where they all met at the tribes. If there was a dispute, they all handled it.
They would hold Congress once a year.
Once a year. Which was kind of technically the way our Congress was supposed to be set. It was not supposed to be a full-time job.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. In the beginning of this country, we only had like the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, and then whatever the states were doing.
13 colonies.
Yeah, in 13 colonies.
Yeah.
So I mean, could you imagine if they did politics the way they do it now? Then people would have shot everybody in the building.
We would probably have nothing to complain about, because the reality is, even if you had that government, it would be an unpaid government. They weren't paid back then. Yeah. So who's stealing taxes?
Well, they did there was compensation, but there wasn't a salary.
But those taxes were collected voluntarily, weren't they?
Well, no, they were compensation. It was people literally going, like with George Washington, you know, he didn't want to be president. So they were all like, how about we give you some slaves and a bunch of pot? And he was like, deal. You know what I mean? And so
but it was voluntary.
Yeah, but they voluntarily gave him involuntary slaves. And
so based on the new philosophy, there's no slaves, then we would be giving him pot. And
holy crap, let's do that. Let's just start giving our politicians marijuana. We're like, look, this is what we got. This is all we're giving
everybody. July 4th has now been changed to a bake sale outside of Congress and outside of the president, the White House. It's now a bake sale. Bring your best baked goods so we can bake Congress.
Infamous on the bake.
We need to mellow these fuckers out.
Oh my God. Well, it's like Bill Hicks said, you know, and again, it's like, you know, it's kind of a status statement, but anyway, so it's kind of a status statement where he said, not only do I believe that pot should be legal, I think it should be mandatory. So the next time you're sitting in traffic and some asshole's behind you honking his horn, you just get out of the car, walk up to him and go, here, hit this. It's the law.
Thank you, Molyneux. Yes. Thank you, Trip. Molyneux probably does have a bigger dick than me. He's got a better philosophical argument.
Well,
we're going to go to a break.
Okay.
I think it's break time. And I've got a song just for you, Trip. This one's just for you. Actually, we're going to do two songs in a row because both songs are kind of short. So this first song is for you. I hope you like it. You posted it. And please forgive the 4-second ad.
Do that. You keep doing it. We're being quiet now.
All right. And we're back. That song, that first song was for you, Trip. I hope you liked it.
I had no idea he was going to do that, and I lost my crap. Okay, so...
and the second song is It Applies. Staying true to yourself. It's staying true to your principles. So that was a good pick, I think. It was actually kind of by accident, but...
Hey, whatever. It works. So, okay, so... we wanted to talk about Rich Paul, because Rich Paul was sentenced today, right?
Yes.
And he was one of the people I was getting really, really pissed off at. Not at him, but I was getting really, really pissed off that Rich Paul wasn't getting attention, that Mark Schmitter wasn't getting attention. You know what I mean? That these other political prisoners in our lifetime weren't getting any attention. Mm-hmm. But we have a win? I don't know what to call it.
It's not a win, but I could say, based on what we thought was coming down the pipe, 81 years.
Yeah.
This is 8,000% less.
I can't believe I'm about to say this. It was the lesser of two evils.
Oh, shut up.
I'm sorry. I couldn't.
Should I go over steps 1, 2, 3, and 4?
Well, okay, so Rich Paul was sentenced to a year in county jail, plus 3 years probation, which I really feel bad about the probation as someone who used to dabble in criminality, right? The probation, I believe the statistic is 86% of everyone who's put on probation returns to jail.
Well, you yourself, you used to warn the judges.
I used to tell them. I was like, no, I'm not a candidate from probation. I mean, for crying out loud, I was hitchhiking the damn country. Where'd they expect me to go? Yeah, you can come check in on me over here under the bridge. It's like, it didn't make any damn sense. So I would always tell them. And what they do, they'd always release me on probation like idiots. Well, not idiots. They probably were like, oh yeah, you'll be back? Sweet. But I even had one judge in California, in San Diego. This is when I did a federal crime. A
real federal crime, not like that bullshit they tried to pin on.
Yeah. Not like what they tried to. I did some stuff.
By the way, folks, Robert was the only guilty person in prison.
Yeah,
he was Morgan Freeman.
Yeah, I when I was in jail, when I was in prison, everybody would say, "Oh, they screwed me here," or they did that, and they didn't read me my rights, and blah blah blah. And they were like, "What about you?" And I was like, "No, I did it." I was like, I did it. I'm not gonna lie. Why bother? They got me apparently. And then I would point out to them too. I would say, "Hey, how long you been committing crimes?" Right? How long? If it was a drug dealer, how long were you selling drugs? If it was a guy who ran Mexicans from Mexico to America, because this was in California. Whatever it was, I would say, how long have you been doing that? Oh, I've been doing it 5 years, 6 years, 10 years, my whole life. And I'd be like, think about all the crap you never got caught for. Was any of it worse than what you are doing time for now? Well, yeah. Well, then count your fucking blessings, man. Because, I did a year, I got sentenced to a year and 6 months for some crap that I did, right? And then I only ended up doing, I think, 9 months altogether with good time and blah, 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 blah. Right? So, compared to all the crap that even Matthew can attest to that I've done in his presence that could have got me 10 to 15, right? That when I was young, dumb, and, not a smart man. Or I was smart. I just didn't make good decisions. I think my friend Caesar said it best. Who? Robert? Oh no, he's really smart. He's just way too eager to go and do dumb shit, right? So after all the things I've ever done, I could have got so much time. I didn't bother being upset. Being upset wasn't going to get me out any sooner. So, but anyway, so Rich Paul, he got a year. He got sentenced to a year in county jail, plus 3 years probation, plus a $650 fine, and a suspended prison sentence yet unknown, at least to Christopher Cantwell. By the way, thanks for the news. He has nearly 2 months already served, so he could be out in 7 months. And that's not, I don't know, since he got sentenced to more than, I don't know if they do it because if you're sentenced to under a year, you don't get any good time. If you're sentenced to a year or above, you get 5 days off for every month you serve, 5 to 7, depending on the system. So, yeah, I think Chris is right in his estimations about when. Well, if he's done 2 months, right, you get 5 days off every month you serve.
Mm-hmm.
He's doing a year, so 5 times 12 is
60.
Yeah, that's why I asked you, because I suck at math. So it was
5 times 12, really?
So take 2 months off his sentence. I don't think quick on my feet, man. You want a quote from one of our founders? You want me to quote a law, the Constitution, voluntarism? You want some quotes? I got quotes all day. You want some statistics? I got statistics all day. You want me to add 2 plus 2? We're going to have some issues.
We're going to get 5, folks.
Yeah.
That's just the bottom line.
2 plus 2 equals 5. I saw a mathematical equation that proved it once.
Now, I want to comment, because here we are. We're sitting on a victimless crime. Now, go back to your days where you said, yeah, I got caught. You know, you were guilty.
Yeah.
Would you believe you were guilty then? Because pretty much all your crimes were victimless.
Yeah, well, no.
Would you believe you were guilty then, based on your new beliefs now?
On my new beliefs now, I would say all but one of the charges I've ever faced. It makes it sound like I faced thousands. You know, I committed crimes from 7 to 22. You know, but out of all of them, I would say one I would agree with, because it was technically stealing. So
okay.
One I would agree with being punished for, because it violates
the non-aggression
principle
okay.
and thievery.
So, but sitting in prison then with your beliefs now, would you say, man, how am I in jail for this shit? It's a victimless crime.
I mean, I would be upset, but it's still not something I would express outwardly.
You have to excuse. Robert's got a bit of a cough tonight, folks. He's not feeling well. His face is turning bright red. Maybe you should turn your mic down next time.
Sorry. But, yeah, no, for most of my crimes, they were victimless. You know what I mean? They're sales and distribution, possession, dumb crap. I once got a resisting arrest without violence. No other charge. Just like Adam, when they first arrested him, tried to get him for resisting arrest, and then, later tacked on some other stuff. But these guys never, ever tacked on another charge for me. I think altogether it was only like 22 days for a resisting arrest without violence, and that's because I didn't have a bond. I didn't have the money for it, so I did my time. It was 22 days for resisting arrest without violence, and it was all because I cussed out the officer, which he, to the officer's credit, told me how to properly cuss out an officer.
Oh, please tell this one.
If you say, in my opinion, before every insult, you cannot be arrested because it's freedom of speech. But if you make it a statement, the officer has the right to arrest you for verbal assault.
So what you're telling me is the next time I go downtown, and because they, especially on like a Saturday night, and they got cops everywhere. If I just walk downtown and by every cop, I would, in my opinion, you're a pig.
Technically, according to what that officer told me, you are well within your First Amendment right. Long as you say, in my opinion, you can say, in my opinion, you should die. In my opinion, your job is pointless. In my opinion, you ate too many donuts this morning. You could say any of that. But if you said, you should die, your job is pointless, you ate too many donuts, your ass is going to jail.
Now that activist, did you hear that? Activist. Chris Cantwell. Calling Chris Cantwell. Get your video camera ready. You need to go on.
Well, you would have to be prepared
Cop
to
insulting.
get some crap back from the officer. Don't...
Camera.
Oh, yeah, keep the camera. But be careful, don't do it in New York because,
Because he does his Ustream where he does cop blocking. So I'd like to see him doing his cop insulting.
Well, I would still, just out of respect for my fellow human beings, do it in a way that is somewhat respectful. Like I would say, in my opinion, sir, your job is absolutely pointless and you really should quit. right? I would say, in my opinion, sir, you're just following orders. And do you know who else was just following orders?
Well, I know the answer. Are you
No, the Marines.
Oh.
Where were you going?
I was going, you know where I was going.
I know you know. I know.
They lived in Germany about 70 years ago.
Oh, man. Did you hear that parody, I'm a Nazi? Anyway, no, it was a horrible song. It was great.
Trip, what song do you have for Grim or for Robert singing now?
No. Actually, you know what? Go on YouTube, look up Paint.
Yeah.
Right? And then do Evil Man or Evil People Melody or Evil Villains Melody. But anyway, we'll play that at the next break.
Oh, that's right. You want to actually play that song?
Oh, dude, it is hilarious. Right? So anyway, that is Ever After. That's funny too. But no, the movie villain medley. All right. So anyway, we were discussing statism because that's really all we were prepared for, to be perfectly honest.
Well, you know what? The fun part is our rants have actually been fun. Getting off topic.
Yeah.
And they've kind of helped us expand the show.
Well, we were discussing statism and Rich Paul. Okay, these are the two main subjects we've discussed so far, and how to deal with our own statism. I would say Rich Paul is a great example for any of you who still think that people should be arrested for things like marijuana. To take a step back and look at what they were threatening him with, and you can't tell me it was anything less than a threat. Because that's what it is. It's all like, if you don't do this, we're going to come at you with the full extent of the law. 81 years, we're going to throw you in a prison cell. You know, it's a threat.
Look at the hypocrisy that set him up. I mean, they let a heroin dealer go. And I'm not, I'm not trying...
Oh, yeah.
I'm not trying to draw the line because I believe both of them should be decriminalized. But if we're going to go off the standards of today's law... To let a heroin dealer go, to go after a pot dealer.
Yeah, that's a Schedule 2 versus a Schedule 4 drug.
Yeah. I mean, granted, I believe all drugs should be decriminalized. Just look at the hypocrisy of the police state and how they operate.
Perfect. Another great example, Mark Schmitter.
Yeah.
Right? Did 104 days in jail for passing out paper. The judge who put him in was Judge Perry.
Yeah.
Who let a woman go for misplacing her dead baby.
He did not let her go.
Oh, come on. The jury, but he made decisions on a lot of evidence that should have been admissible, blah, 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 blah. Point is, okay, the point is
no, you're right.
She got free for misplacing her dead baby.
Okay, but let's keep in the judge handling... Belvin Perry handling Mark Schmitter. And by the way, he handled the appeal as well. Which
yeah. Wait. I want to appeal your decision. Who am I going to? Me. Okay, I appeal. Denied. It's...
Which, but that just shows you the complete hypocrisy of the state and how they operate. They weren't going after Rich Paul because he was a pot dealer. They were going after Rich Paul because he was an activist.
Yeah, same with Adam Kokesh. He didn't get arrested because he was standing next to someone smoking pot.
With a microphone. Dangerous microphone.
With
the blunt instrument.
An unregistered microphone.
An unregistered.
They were going after him because he's an activist. And we're seeing more and more of this. As a matter of fact, there is an operation out there right now called Operation Vigilant Eagle. Okay, which I love that name, by the way. I called dibs on the band name for that. Right? Vigilant Eagle. Operation Vigilant Eagle.
I'm a Vigilant Eagle.
So man, you made me lose my point.
Oh,
I got I'm a Vigilant Eagle stuck in my head. They got Operation Vigilant Eagle. This is a real operation. You can look into it, and what it is they target ex-military who speak out against the military.
What? You mean the people that were overseas in these other countries witnessing all this stuff firsthand? People like Bradley Manning? People like Adam Kokesh?
Well, you know what gets me, right? Is I'd really like to see an episode of Secret Boss, right? But what you do, right, is you take Obama, or you take Pelosi, or even Rand Paul for that matter. You take one of these big names in politics, right, and you stick their ass in the infantry field out in Iraq where they have to pretend to be one of the guys, you know what I mean? And because at the end of it, it always, ends with, now I understand so much better what my employees are going through. I would like to do that. And then at the end, we watch them get shot. What? I'm sorry.
By the way, folks, they're people in suits. It's that perceived authority. You know what? All of them are just another human being to me. I don't care who they are.
Costumes don't matter.
Costumes mean shit.
They don't mean anything. Costumes don't matter. What I respect is someone who is an alpha of their own life. The people that I tend to gravitate to are in control of their own decisions as much as I am.
See, that's why he's friends with me.
Yeah. I got nothing. I wanted to throw out some sort of zinger to insult you, but let you know I love you at the same time, and I got nothing.
You got nothing?
I blame
statism. Blame statism.
Communism.
Communism?
Communism's fault. Communism destroyed my memory.
But going back to guys like Rich Paul, Mark Schmitter, Bradley Manning, Antonio Bueller, who got arrested for filming cops.
Well, and I mean, they targeted the ever-loving crap out of his ass, too.
Yeah, I mean, it's just... The sad part is nobody sees it but us. I think that's I think that's our biggest gripe with the mainstream media, right?
Well, no, I mean, even if the mainstream media does, I mean, people see it. Because I talk to lots of people, both online and in person. And people see it, but they don't recognize it as a problem.
Yeah.
They think, oh, well, if he's innocent, he'll get out. Oh, well, if he didn't do it, nothing to hide. And they just let it go. But we will harp on Terry Schiavo or the Casey Anthony case, or what's the new one? What's the one where the guy shot the kid? Zimmerman, the Zimmerman case. We will harp on that, drive it into the ground to where they've repeated the same talking points for months.
Nancy Grace. There is a human that I would not mind being put on a DC-7 with one working engine. That's all I'm saying.
You just threaten her, man?
Nope. I just said I would not mind seeing her on a faulty plane. That's all I said.
Are you trying to use the "in my opinion" argument on me now? No. I didn't say that I...
Did I say I was going to do anything
to that engine? Did I say I was going to put her on the plane with only one engine? No. I just said it would be kind of cool to see. Yeah. No, I wish nobody harm.
No, I didn't say I wished her harm. I just said...
You're just saying you wouldn't feel bad. I get it.
I wouldn't feel bad.
Okay, yeah, I understand. But you know what would make me more satisfied? Society versus their own. Could you imagine the hair pulling that will come?
I'm going to call you out for your hypocrisy, because not 5 minutes ago you said that we should put Nancy Pelosi, Rand Paul, and Obama overseas in secret boss situations. And then you get on my shit about Nancy Grace.
Just because you didn't take the wide open door to take a shot at me isn't my fault, man. You know what I'm saying? Good recover on calling me out on my hypocrisy, though. But go fuck yourself. So, man, I want sound bites. I feel weird doing this, just talking back and forth thing. I feel like I should be talking about the freaking news.
Boo! Boo! It'd be like doing it old style, like what's his name, Howard Stern, and his sound guy, and he'd be in the background making sounds with cans and freaking on his own.
Fuck it, we'll do it live. Fucking thing sucks.
How that worked?
That actually sounded. You sounded just like Bill O'Reilly.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I was impressed.
Really?
Yes. Just don't sound like him all the time. Because then we might lose listeners.
I don't think I can. That's probably like the first impression I've ever pulled off successfully.
I didn't mean his voice. I meant his philosophies.
Fuck it, I'll do it live.
Forget it. It's over your head.
You lost me.
I lost you.
But I feel like we should be talking about news.
Well, here we got one.
What do we got?
And this covers basically what we're talking about with guys like Mark Schmitter, Rich Paul. And this happened just, I think, last week. Sheriff Nick Finch, he's a sheriff, and I guess there was a guy who was arrested for something about gun crime or something or other, and Sheriff Nick Finch said, "No, I believe in the Second Amendment." And I guess he altered some documents or something or other, or got rid of them, or so the guy could get off, because this sheriff was standing up for the Second Amendment. He was standing up for the Constitution. So what did Rick Scott, our governor, our Florida governor, that lousy son of a bitch, he is actually under attack by a lot of libertarians.
I have a status confession.
He arrested Sheriff Nick Finch for this.
You know that scumbag, Rick Scott?
Yeah.
I voted for him.
So did I.
Oh, man. And it wasn't for any real reason other than I really, really hated the other guy.
Well, yeah. Well,
my own voting record makes me want to stop voting. It's like, whoa, I'm fucking shit up.
Well, I used to be that down the line Republican voter.
Yeah, that's right. He was real neocon.
I didn't even have to look at the ballot or beforehand or study it. I was like, oh, he's a Republican. Yeah, I'll circle his fucking name.
Yeah.
And again, folks, I don't believe we've since changed our views. We don't believe in voting. We don't believe it works.
But we also think that you need to remember where the hell you came from. Not because you need to remember your roots or anything dumb like that, right? But because you need to remember that that's where you don't want to be again. And really, I did an episode on the JRev YouTube channel called "You Didn't Always Understand Liberty," and that. As a matter of fact,
I can cue it up and play it.
We will actually, but go ahead and cue it up because going back to step 4, which we're on now, that would have to be some real moral standings on my point. I believe and try to base my behavior around the fact that I understand that not everyone understands. Okay, the way I speak to my mother-in-law about liberty will be very, very different from how I speak about liberty to, say, Matthew here, or any of you listening, I'm pretty sure. Okay, so that would have to be a defining moral inventory of myself, is that I believe that we not go easy on those who are... man, you got to be careful with language because it can piss people off, but less mature in liberty, if you will.
Well, I'm guilty of that too with my own parents. I could sit there and talk to a complete stranger, and I love talking to complete strangers about.
It's almost creepy.
It's almost creepy about getting to that that next level, that liberty Republican or that minarchist state, to bring them along the way I was brought along. Mm-hmm. Not that, you must become an anarchist tonight or I'm going to unfriend you bullshit.
What gets me, right, with this whole, we got to do anarchist, it's very alarmist. You know what I mean? We have to have anarchy tomorrow or the world will burn in fire.
It's almost Alex Jones-ish.
Yeah. I mean, and no discredit to the man. I love Alex Jones's work. But my problem is I look at him as satire because there's no way in hell that man gets that crazy for real. There's no way. I mean, it's got to be satire.
Well, the thing about it is I think if you're going to use fear as a tool, it doesn't matter if you're the mainstream media, a politician, or a philosophical anarchist. If you're going to use fear as a tool, you're not doing anybody a service.
Well, and the tactics are always the same.
Yeah, I mean, fear...
And it's predictable, and if you're predictable, it's hard to catch people off their guard to shake their foundation.
Instead of using things like... I mean, if you really want to form a great argument, I would study Socrates.
Oh, I love the Socratic method.
Yeah,
I preach that Oh, all the time. Answer questions in the form of questions.
Yeah, because if you can, and that was Socrates' biggest thing, was he was able to get people to change their viewpoint, and by showing the hypocrisy in their viewpoint, their current viewpoint.
Yeah, I mean, I think Socrates isn't even in the top 5 best philosophers in the world. Okay, but his method was number 1.
Yeah,
in my opinion, number 1.
I mean, if you you just have to break people down. And
well, you make them break themselves down.
Exactly.
You just keep you answer questions in forms of questions. Like, when they're all like, "Well, should everybody be free?" And, well, do you believe everybody should be free? Well, I don't. Well, why not? You know what I mean? And you just keep hitting them with and you act like you're enraptured by their answers, and you just need to know more. And then next thing you know, they're going, so in the long run, I think I agree with you. Yeah.
Well, again, it's forming a proper argument. I did a show on this. It was my first show, and it was pretty crappy, if I must say so myself, because even though it was great content, and it was very educational, I bored the hell out of myself.
With who?
It was my very first alone show, Lucky Hour.
Oh, yeah.
The one that
the
started
Lucky
like
Hour.
20 minutes late because I couldn't.
coined that name.
Yeah. The Lucky Hour. It was like 2 hours.
So it's
the Lucky Hours.
It sounds weird. The Lucky Hour. I was going to start calling it Get Lucky.
But that was what I was trying to bring up, was if you're gonna approach people, bring them along lightly like you were. Like, you could make the argument, what's the difference between a liberty a neocon Republican and a liberty Republican? Oh, about a year. And then, what's the difference between a liberty Republican and a big L libertarian? And then just keep, you have to bring people along. You can't just go, oh, you're a neocon Republican, you're a fucking statist, and you need to believe in anarchy.
And we're not saying don't call people out for being stupid.
Yeah.
Call stupidity out, because stupidity has no bounds, no political affiliations. It doesn't care about your age. Stupidity will strike anywhere, at any moment. And when you see it, you need to stomp it out as quick as possible. I mean, I even do it to complete strangers. If they say something really stupid, I'll either correct them or I will look at them like they just farted in an elevator. You know what I mean? Like, I will just be like, what, and just look at them so they know.
But don't you think doing something like that, okay, correcting them is one thing in a polite manner, but giving that kind of look, even if it's a micro expression and you're a master at micro expressions.
I love micro expressions.
It's subliminal, it's subconscious. They're going to see it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they're going to be turned off by it. And that would in turn give them a negative opinion about you.
When you're calling out stupid, I don't care if they have a negative opinion about me.
But how do you change someone's philosophical viewpoint if they don't like you anymore?
No. Stupidity is not a changing of philosophical viewpoints. Okay, stupidity can only really be combated with disappointment and pity. And if they see that embarrassment in this, okay, when I was a kid, when I was homeless on the streets. So
you're talking about, hold on, you're talking about what advertisers do. They make you feel stupid or embarrassed in their commercials in hopes that you'll buy their product.
Yeah, but they lie to make you feel stupid. They are being untruthful and probably making you feel stupid for something that isn't really stupid.
Well, I don't, because I recognize it.
But stupid is stupid. I mean, if you're sitting there and like, it's like watching jaywalking, and they're all like, "Who was the first president of the United States?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, that was easy, Abe Lincoln." You call that person out. You're like, yeah, Abe Lincoln, vice president, was Chewbacca, right? You just call him out for that.
You don't call him out. You do like Mark Dice. You just make a video of it and post it on YouTube.
Well, I don't do that. So anyway, let's pull up the
movie villain medley.
No, is it time for a break?
Yeah, it's 12:30.
Oh man! Wow. Okay. Yeah.
So what did you want to pull up?
No. I was going to do the you didn't always understand liberty.
No, I was going to play that immediately after the movie villain medley before we came back.
And then a promo. Do you have Same Side?
No.
Ooh, SameSideEntertainment.com. You guys check that out. Let's go ahead and go to the song.
There's probably going to be an advertisement.
Oh, man. Freaking.
Let's see here. Yep. 5 seconds, folks. 5, It's a
We're
car
making
commercial.
The colors
Jeep.
of earth and sunset
why
skies
are you
into
telling
rich
me?
interior
Don't buy that
accents
crap.
and putting the beauty of
Skip ad. There we go.
I started as a nobody and grew up as a freak. My dad drank booze, my mom smoked pot, I had a poor physique. But now I'm running Gotham cause that bat's delirious. I shoot up all the good guys asking, why so serious? Carried by, no they can't read my Joker face. Cause I'm a psychopathic killer. Carried by, no they can't read my Joker face. I even killed the fat driver. One Kenobi and yoga. I'm wearing black face pants. I'm wearing face pants. My name is Vader. I'm gonna blow up your world. I'm your dad and I wear black face pants. Obi-Wan. I am the Dark Lord and I'll never be loved. I'm your dad and I wear black face pants. Obi-Wan Kenobi. I'm wearing face pants. Yeah. The Jew hunters here, yeah, I'm smelling the fear. Some may call me cruel, but I got beat up in high school, so I take it out on every single Jew throughout Germany and France. Now I'm a real bad man, you're dead unless you somehow stop me. Cause I'm a Nazi, now I'm a mastermind. I won't stop until those Jews are mine. I'm Tarantino's man, I killed a gremlin and can't stop me. Cause I'm a Nazi, yo. I got a thing for shooting guys. That dude is stranded by my side now. I'm curving bullets and I'm sticking it to the man. I'm flipping cars and looking hot. Cause I got implants, it's gonna be okay. Baby, who's got implants? Don't eat in my way. I got people who got implants, I'll blow you away. Baby, who's got implants? Got implants. This is the movie villain that lead. A-I-N-G, subscribe.
Hi, this is Tatiana Moroz, and you're listening to Journalistic Revolution.
You have not always been libertarian or voluntarist. You may have always had feelings and thoughts about what freedom is, but you are not the same that you were 5, 10, or even 15 years ago. I find it sad that I see so many insults, no matter how true they may be, being thrown around towards people both inside and outside our movement. Let me address those insults to those outside the movement first. You were not always a part of the liberty movement. Would you have joined the movement if the people in it screamed statist and sheeple at you constantly? What if they talked to you in a condescending way when you first joined the movement? I know what some of you would say. Being offended is BS. I humbly disagree. We're in this movement because we are offended. I'm offended that other people think that they can tell me what to do with my life. I'm offended that a majority vote can steal from me. I'm offended that the government has become my mother. I digress. Now for the insulting and fighting inside the movement. We are individuals, and we have different levels of growth inside the liberty movement. And you want what? Conformity? Seems a little counterintuitive, don't you think? I want my liberty to believe and behave as I see fit, and all of you must believe and do exactly like I do. In closing, unless you are understanding of those in the dark, you're never going to wake them up. Unless you are tolerant, and tolerance is not endorsement, of those who believe differently than you, then you are just like the system that we are fighting against. Ask yourself this. If present you met past you, would you be able to convince him to join the movement at all? Or would you just call him or her a statist and sheeple until he or she would never join the movement in the first place?
I bet no one's ever noticed that my mugshot is in that video.
I was just about to bring that up. Did you... Here's the funny part, folks, is Robert didn't have his mugshot to begin with. He actually pulled it off of Google Images.
There's several. My new ones are up there, too.
Just to put the picture in the video. Now, I want to go back to that guy singing that song, and I think what people miss by just listening to it as versus seeing the video, this guy does all his own background music. And he films himself doing the background music and edits it in. And so he'll have like himself singing the song, the main lines, and then a video of him of all 4 of him doing the background.
And they're all based on movies. The first one was based on Batman, The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
The second one was based on Star Wars.
Star Wars.
The third
Darth
one
Vader.
was based on the Inglourious Bastards.
Oh, okay.
And then the fourth one was based on
Wanted?
Wanted, with Angelina Jolie.
Yeah. Which, I think is hilarious because he was bringing up the breast implants with everything that's going on with her having her breast removed. Is that what she did?
Oh my God, yeah.
How is she going to get another movie part? I just want to know.
No, she got implants.
Oh, she got implants after having them removed.
She had all of the fat cells from her breasts scraped out and then put in silicone or saline or whatever the hell they use now.
What for? What?
Because they genetically found out that she's predispositioned to breast cancer.
Aren't we all predisposed to some kind of cancer? No, to some kind of cancer. We all have cancer cells in our body.
I was just out there.
Were you thinking I was going to say we're all predisposed to get breast cancer?
No. I was just the way you said predispositioned. You slaughtered that word. You destroyed it.
Okay, well,
I was just amazed.
Yeah, you're amazed that someone gets at the level of how often you slaughter words.
Oh yeah, no, I think they're freaking hilarious when I do it. I've never chopped one up like that before. That's cool. It was like
I beg to differ.
It was
went through all of our video.
I have completely ruined words. Yes, but what you just did was artful, sir. You just straight up sushi chefed a word. You were like chop 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 chop. Throw it up in the air. Let's see what comes out. You're all like predispositions.
But I mean, honestly, what am I going to do? Like, cut out my prostate and get an implant?
Yeah, no, I mean, honestly, okay, all right. It was her decision. And I support her right to make her decisions.
Okay.
But having
she
said
made it
that,
public.
No, she did. Yes and no. I'm pretty sure that she didn't make it public. Her publicist or someone else did.
Publicist doesn't do anything without your.
Bet you. I bet you those publicists all the time just kind of like walk up, okay, you're going to be dating Eric now for the next 3 weeks. You're going to act like you were pregnant, and then when you weren't, you're going to come out and break up with him, and it's going to be great. We'll get it all over the news.
Okay.
And then they just go, okay.
Okay, so she still did it voluntarily. Okay.
But my point is I respect the decision. Having said that, I respect her decision to be precautious. Okay. What the fuck? Like, your argument stands logically true. What are we going to just start cutting off and replacing just because we have a predisposition to it?
Mm-hmm.
And then, even then, finding out these genes, mapping the human genome, we're still not done with that. We still have the Human Genome Project, which is still mapping the DNA of humans. And we're learning a lot, okay, but science is wrong a lot. Okay? I mean, that's why it's science. That's what it does. It goes, hey, we think this is true. Hey, guys, we think this is true. That sounds like a good theory. Yeah. Oh crap, dude! It isn't true. It isn't true. They just and then they go, well, what's true? We did this. We found out this is true. That's how it's supposed to work. But
and that's the scientific method.
Well, duh. Yeah. and peer reviewed information and experiments.
Yeah.
But genetics hasn't been around long enough for me to go, oh, I'm gonna get ball cancer. Shit, cut them off.
I guess for me with Angelina, because I've always liked her. I always thought she was a good actress.
Yeah, good actress.
And I always liked, I'm not going to lie, I like the way she looked. So for me, I guess if I ever want to see her real breasts again, I can just go see the movie Hackers.
Could you buy them?
They're on auction.
Well, no, I mean, come on.
The proceeds will go to the
weird stuff.
Victims of Oklahoma.
Oh my God! Do you think that there's Angelina Jolie breast fat out there somewhere?
We should check eBay.
Oh my!
The doctor's probably selling it right now. No, but I mean, if I really just want to see him again, I'll just go watch the movie Hackers and pause it on that scene for I think it's that one flash, or the only time ever in her movie history that I ever saw a breast shot of her.
Which one?
Hackers.
Hackers?
Yeah.
There was boobies in Hackers?
It was boobies in Hackers. I own that movie. Yes, there are boobies in Hackers.
Wow.
So for all you out there, if you want to see, well, you know what to do.
What hour and minute?
I know that. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I think it's at the moment where she's having the sex dream about Zero Cool, the main character guy.
Burn.
No, she's Burn.
Oh, then he's Crash.
Yeah, but his original name was Zero Cool, and he had to change it to Crash.
We're talking about hackers.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
Okay.
But no, I mean it's at that. If you want to see it, it's at that scene. So there you go.
There you go. Boobies and hackers. That is journalistic integrity,
folks.
Because honestly, it's a fact. We're one up on most mainstream media right there. You know.
Do you think they're covering? Do you think Fox News is covering at what moment Angelina Jolie exposes her breasts in the movie Hackers? No. You can only find that right here at the Journalistic Revolution.
Wow. Ben Swan, you can contact us at info@journalisticrevolution.com.
I'm very depressed. I knew he wasn't. I'm very depressed that he didn't respond to my request for him to join Journalistic Revolution.
I applied to work for his Kickstarter project.
And how'd that go?
I haven't got a response yet.
Oh.
But
Do you think he did a background check?
No. Maybe. He is a journalist.
Oh, well.
You know, but no, I sent an application in. And I got on the mailing list or whatever, so, you know, but who can't get on a mailing list?
Yeah, and that's the funny thing is they type up their message, click all, and then send.
Oh,
it's not like, who should we send it to this week? Oh, Robert. Oh, yeah, we should totally send that email to Robert this week.
I hate mailing lists. That's why I have like 5 emails. You know, like, because... Like, whenever you have to sign up for something, I'm like, it's going to be Yahoo today. Yeah, I don't ever check that one. You know, and like, I'll use the Gmail. I check that one from time to time.
I've lost count of how many accounts I've opened up.
Really?
Yeah, and a lot of them go to my Yahoo email. No, I'm not talking about just email.
Email.
Just accounts in general.
Oh,
crap that I've signed up for. I mean, can you imagine, how long has the internet been around? That really easy...
Technically, like, since 88, 89.
Okay, but I mean, just the easy part of it. Like,
Al Gore invented it.
Like, 10 years ago when it started getting really easy to log on and not have to wait for dial-up.
I'd say right around the millennia.
Imagine the people, like, in our age group or a little bit younger or older who have been just messing around on the internet. How many accounts you signed up for that you don't even use anymore or even remember?
Dude, it's freaky information. This was on the news last night, right? Because my wife watches mainstream media.
She doesn't listen to our show.
No, she does.
I'm just kidding.
No, she really does. She doesn't necessarily like it.
By the way, folks, Robert married a Democrat liberal.
Actually, no. I had her take the test. The libertarian political test.
Yeah.
I had to take it. She's a centrist that leans towards libertarian.
You know what? Link me that test. I don't remember where it is. Link me that test because I want to see if my mom will take it.
Mine was libertarian right. Like I was.
Just recently? Or the first time you took it?
First time I took it. I only took it once, but I was like in the libertarian category off to the right.
And that was like about 6 months ago.
Close to the center.
So you're probably around anarchist right now.
Yeah, it's probably like all the way at the tippy top of, but I'm not. Okay, all right, here's my problem with calling myself an anarchist, and I know I'm going to get a lot of crap for this, and you can email me at info@journalisticrevolution.com. Okay, here's my problem. I hung out with anarchists before liberty was involved.
All right, real anarchists?
Like, no, I'm talking...
extreme anarchists.
Like extreme anarchists, you know what I mean? And that's all I knew of anarchy. I was at the Anarchy House in Eugene. I stayed at a few anarchy flop houses up and down the West Coast.
Okay.
And I love those people. They gave me some of the best memories. They're the kindest people on individual level.
Okay.
But they were violent. Okay.
Right.
My friends Free and Critter went to prison for blowing up SUVs.
Critter.
Not my brother. This was... remember, we didn't have real grown-up names out west.
Okay. Neither did we out east either.
Yeah, well, that was for different reasons.
Oh, okay.
Out there, we actually had, we were all anarchists, and on lists and stuff, we had to, not know each other's names. Free and Critter got arrested, and they are doing 25 to life for blowing up almost an entire SUV sales lot.
What was their political reason for blowing up an SUV lot?
Global warming alarmism was real big then.
Okay.
And so they decided to burn rubber and cars and gasoline to show that they didn't want people burning rubber cars.
But that's not real anarchism.
I understand that now, but that's, again, like the same problem with statism. You know, you have stigmas that get stuck, and they're hard to dig out because of indoctrination and personal experiences and all these other logical fallacies.
Yeah, but just call them what they were. They were barbarists.
Yeah, because I've made that point quite often, that anarchism as we understand it isn't anarchism, it's really voluntarism.
Yeah.
And anarchist as the world understands it isn't anarchism, it's barbarism.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
but it's hard to dig out. I mean, but you got to understand. That's why I don't go around going, "Yeah, I'm an anarchist." I always say voluntarist or a libertarian. You know.
Oh, see,
you
got a two-headed coin. You just flip. Am I an anarchist or voluntarist?
But I mean, that is just, again, personal experience. It's the logical fallacy. I know it is. I'm fighting with it,
Okay.
and that's why, if you notice, I use the word anarchy a whole lot more now.
Okay.
You know,
because you jumped on my shit.
When?
Probably about a month ago.
For
about calling you an anarchist.
Yeah, you called me an anarchist.
Oh,
right?
man.
But it's because of that stigma, you know what I mean? Those are reactions. Those aren't, you know what I'm saying? They're just, you're an anarchist. I am not, son of a bitch.
So this 12-step program is more than just satire for you.
It really is. No, I mean, why do you think I threw myself behind the Statist Anonymous?
Okay.
It really was. Because at first I was like, it'll be funny, we'll make some jokes, da-da-da-da-da. But then as I'm reading the 12 steps and I'm replacing, stuff with liberty and freedom and non-aggression principle, I'm all like, holy crap. We might actually have to make this an organization, we need to have meetings. We'll get some coffee, some real bad coffee, some cigarettes.
I can't wait for those interventions. I can't wait for those interventions.
Oh my God, could you imagine that? Could you, extreme. Now I'm just being hyperbole right now, but like an extreme, like someone goes to vote and you go and tackle his ass. You know what I mean? With a whole bunch of other people.
It wouldn't work like that. It would be like the day after voting. All of, Johnny Smith's friends would all gather in an apartment and
lock them in.
And I would bring them up and, hey man, we're just gathering together for some dinner. And
he'd
get up and
we're going to hang out, do some mushrooms.
And he'd get up to the room and he'd see everybody sitting there, all his friends and his family, and he'd be like, what's this? Well, Johnny, this is an intervention.
We know you voted yesterday.
You posted the picture of the I voted sticker on Facebook. We know you voted.
I didn't, man. I didn't. No. It was a liberty candidate, man. It was a liberty candidate. It's okay. It was just a small one. Yeah.
Just a small amount of statism, man. Just a little bit. Yeah. I know I fell off the wagon, but it was just a little bit of statism.
Yeah. But that's just being hyperbolic, because honestly, I really don't care if you vote. I don't see anything wrong with it.
Other than standing in a long line talking to strangers.
Well, I don't see anything wrong with it, especially if you're voting for somebody
who's going to bring us more freedom?
That is promising. Okay, hold on. That is promising to reduce the power of their own office and have people like us, this tight-knit community we have, how like us, Tripp, Tracy.
So you're saying politics on a local level?
Yeah, well, dude, politics on a federal level are just
pointless.
Damn near. You know what I mean? Like, for real. They're damn near pointless. I'm not going to say they are, because I will not take anything off the table. Okay?
Yeah.
I refuse. At this point, we are so screwed. I'm not taking anything off the table besides submitting.
Okay.
Submitting is off the table. That was off the table in 2004. All right? In 2004, I was all like, wait, no, there's no way in hell I'm going to be quiet. Okay? I can't. I'm all like, I could even allow it to happen, but never shut up that it's stupid. You know what I mean? Like, that's how I will never be quiet. So.
Well, folks, we're coming near the end of our show, and before I start doing the plugs and play our outro song, whatever we decide that to be, I would like to first say, next, I have my show Sunday, and then we have a show Wednesday and Friday night. After that, we're going to be at Porkfest. We're not sure for exactly how long. A lot of factors still have to fall into place before we determine whether we're going for a short period of time or the whole time.
We are also going to be trying to do live feeds and a live show from PortFest.
Yeah. What we're hoping to do, and we're going to work it out, we're going to try and test it out next week with Eric, is broadcast live from Skype on our phones. We have some headphones with Bluetooth technology. So the goal is that we'll be able to walk the crowds with our phones and do some interviews. So that's the goal. We're hoping to do some live, and we'll probably do some earlier day shows, and then maybe do something at night if we have the technology and the ability. So even if we're not able to do any of those things, I'm sure Eric will play some really cool replays of our stuff. But
yeah.
what we're going to do is next Wednesday and Friday we're going to cover steps 5 and 6. We're going to take a break from Status Anonymous while we're in PorkFest. And then when we get back, we'll get rolling with 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12.
And I should have all the videos up to date before we go.
Yeah, and that's another thing we'd like to continue. We'll probably wait until after we get back from PorkFest, but we also want to continue our series on logical fallacies, which I think are just brilliant in themselves because we're trying to teach people to form a better argument without using logical fallacies.
Yeah, it's a pet peeve of mine. Always has been.
You know what? As badly as he suffers with statism, I suffer with logical fallacy arguments.
Yeah, like it's really bad because unfortunately you can use logic to justify freaking statism, which sucks because it happens to me all the time. I'll be like, oh well, they broke the law. That's why they were arrested. Huh? So but you can't. It doesn't work the other way. So,
all right, folks. I'm going to do my wrap-ups, and then we're going to locate a song to do our outro. Also, at the end, you need to give that plug to the people you keep forgetting to send me the link for.
Oh, yeah.
Bill Walker's organization?
Yes. Well, it's not Bill Walker. It's Judy Morris.
Judy Morris, but he kind of helps with it.
Yeah, well, he's
contributor.
Yeah, something to that effect. I don't want to give out too much information yet because they're still working on the project. Mm-hmm. And I don't really know the hierarchy. I don't want to misstep anywhere. You know what I'm saying? So, but you go ahead and start doing that, and I will get the information.
Help me find a song.
Well. Start reading your plugs, man. And then when I'm doing my plug, we'll do it. Come on. Can we act professional in here, please? I know we have no news and we have no format and we're probably down to no listeners. Yeah, that's perfect. There you go.
All right. I'll play something from Rebel Inc. after I'm done with my plugs. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening tonight. First, we'd like to plug ourselves at www.journalisticrevolution.com. You catch our live show every Wednesday, Friday from 11 to 1. That's p.m. Eastern, 11 o'clock. Also, my Sunday show all by myself, 11 to 1. That is also Eastern Standard Time. You can catch us on LibertyMovementRadio.com, where they also feature Adam versus the Man's, Adam Kokesh's podcast, Trip NWO Fighter Show with Trip Pugh. That's a live show. We Are Not Cattle with Jake Counts. And to continue on past Liberty Movement Radio, don't forget Caleb Leverett and Ben Farmer. Those guys are a lot of fun. Jack Blood, and you
they are amazing.
Yeah, you can get their show, the whole schedule, LibertyMovementRadio.com. The Houston Freethinkers with Derek Bros. Peace News Now with Derek J. Freeman. Thank you for giving us a first 5-minute segment every Wednesday and Friday. The Cerebral Industrial Complex with Josh Wiley. We Are Changed with Luke Radowski. The Panda, the People Against the National Defense Authorization Act with Dan Johnson. The 1787 Network with Alex Schnichter. Revolution on a Recliner with John Conrad. ShinyBadges.com with Davi Barker. If you have an organization or something you want to promote, you can contact Davi Barker at ShinyBadges.com, and he can work something up to help you, to promote your business or your industry.
If you want a shiny badge that gives you power over people, ShinyBadges.com.
See, leave this shit to me, dude. Leave this shit to me. And also our weatherman at journalisticrevolution.com, Suspicious Observer. You can put those in the search engine on YouTube and find his videos, or you can find them on our live stream. And also, Robert would like to continue.
Yes. And then, of course, the one, because I already said I was going to do it, so now I have to. Here is something new from our Liberty friends. Liberty Calling with Judy Morris, who has teamed up with Liberty activists from all over the country to take Liberty media on the next level. Take it to the next level. Nonpartisan advocates for liberty, peace, and prosperity. They report on a ton of issues like monetary policy, fiscal policy, civil liberties, and more. All the liberty news you can, use. You can find them at libertycalling.net or find them on their Facebook page of the same name. Listen for Liberty Calling.